So this is our third episode, and
Jesus, we've only done 3 of these?
yeah, we've only done 3 of these. We record twice for every episode is the
That's
problem,
true.
so it feels twice as long. And I've finally gotten around to starting the editing, and let me tell you, I am very... my audio sounds bad, I'm too quiet, and half my audio has Ezra in the background making sounds.
Yep.
And it's very annoying for me to edit, and I'm going to be more annoying for people to listen to, so that's fun.
Well, I mean, like, hopefully your mom likes the sound of your voice. Hopefully.
That's true. It's her grandson, so she has to like it, right? Hearing Ezra in the background, I mean.
Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like the amateurish nature of our podcast has some charm to it. Plus, in the end, we're just doing this for
I mean, I
lesson.
wouldn't listen to it, but...
Well, I wouldn't listen to it because it has my voice in it, so...
I know we're all doing it for laughs and fun, but Brad has a contract, and he insists that if we have a certain amount of views we got to reach, or he's gonna get out and
do a solo podcast
and do a solo.
It's the same
pod.
thing, but it's just Brad.
So, Brad, what movie are we talking about today?
The Lighthouse, as far as I'm aware.
I think so.
Brad wins. He got... That was the game. There was only one contestant. It was Brad, and he won. It was the Brad says the Lighthouse game.
That's
Good
Brad's
game.
podcast, is him doing a game show by himself.
Asking himself a trivia question like, well, the answer is this.
Good job.
It's funny,
Me.
but that's funny, but it's totally something Vaughn would do. So
Oh!
I feel offended by that.
you shouldn't be. That's gonna be the ad break for this episode.
Well, now it's ruined.
Yeah, we'll just say that one.
We'll just, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, we might need to take a break for a second because my cat has decided that he wants on my keyboard. Alright, this is where the theme song can go. Thor, sing it.
Meow.
And now we're back.
And now we're back.
That was a fun theme song.
Yeah, that was fun. And lasted 15 minutes or so.
Shh, they don't know that.
Thor!
That's how long... Oh my
Fucking
god.
cat.
Okay, now we're back!
Now
That was a
we're
fun theme song.
back.
That lasted 15 minutes or so.
Alright, so...
So we're doing The Lighthouse, which I now realize, so we picked 4 movies to record before we posted anything, and the 2 good movies are both in black and white, oddly enough.
And,
Cats Within Color.
I don't know if there's any pattern to this, but 2 out of the 4 do have Robert Pattinson.
We need to make that 3 for 3.
And I would say
Yeah,
that
yeah, and if you're lucky, audience,
two
the
good
third- the
ones
fifth-
have Robert Pattinson.
The 2 good ones. Alright, that'll be exciting when people find out what they are.
I mean, what other movie is good and has Robert Pattinson? None
But what
of
about
them.
9/11?
What am I talking about? Water for Elephants? No.
The one that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I hate you, Danny.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a third in a row Robert Pattinson movie. If I have anything to say about it.
What's the third one?
It hasn't happened yet, don't worry.
Oh.
Or it will happen. Or maybe it has. It's unclear.
Okay.
Don't worry. When we talk about it, it'll be an interesting tenant.
Don't think about
Oh,
it.
Tenet has Robert Pattinson? I didn't know that.
He's the best part.
Cool. Yeah, so we're doing The Lighthouse. Just real quick, want to go over who's seen it and who hasn't?
I have not.
You haven't.
Ron, you haven't seen it? I saw it in theaters with some friends.
Yeah, I wanted to go see it in theater with friends, but I wasn't invited. Danny.
Well, now it just
I'm
makes me
pretty
sound.
sure
We were not friends at the
that was
time.
before we met you.
That just makes me sound. I didn't know you back then, so that just don't make me sound bad.
No, he shirked my friendship and didn't invite me.
That one is true. That one. And Brad?
I've seen it.
I'm pretty sure you and Danny saw it
It's gonna be
together.
an exciting one from Brad. From Brad, I could tell already. But no, I don't think we did. No, because but I had some friends invite me randomly, and I was like, yeah, I can go see a movie, and went, and it was an interesting experience. So Vaughn, Beck, do you guys know anything about this movie? I realize that this one is kind of a lesser known one, so maybe actually not a great choice for the podcast.
I actually know quite a bit about it.
Have you? Okay,
because
cool.
you guys talked about it a lot when you had seen it, and I watched a few videos on it. And really the only thing that stuck out to me was that he brutalizes a bird.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's true.
All I know about is the random masturbation.
Oh, I
was
didn't
gonna say,
know
and he
about
brutalizes
that.
himself, if you know what I mean.
But no, I really wanted
That'll
to see.
be the
I'm really excited to
second
see this
movie in which Robert Pattinson jacks off on camera.
Peck, what's the
I see
first?
he's got a.
I
need
don't
to know.
remember what the movie was called, but he did go on in interviews and say that, like, yeah, he wanted to make it realistic, so he just went and did it.
So he actually did it. And yeah, I got sued for sexual harassment, but you know what? Made a good scene. Well, cool. Yeah, do you guys want to talk about some of your perceptions of the movie? Or Brad, do you maybe want to do a quick synopsis of a little bit?
Sure. So the basic gist of the movie, or the thrust of the movie, rather, is that the two characters played by Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are stuck on a island containing a lighthouse for 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
I believe. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be.
They're isolated on the island, and the movie explores their experiences. I
think that's good story-wise, but can you go into like the details of like the filming and like the black and white and aspect ratio and stuff? Because I feel like that's a kind of important part of it.
Sure. So one of the most one of the things this movie is well known for is its aspect ratio, which is shot in 1.2 to 1, which is nearly square, which is really unusual. And is in black and white, which, at least the cinematography, I believe was this movie's only Oscar nomination, was for the cinematography.
That's a shame, I think, but...
I agree. Yeah, and like I said, the aspect ratio is nearly square, which even among, black and white and older films is unusual. So, yeah, and then... Do you want me to get a little bit into like the filming process?
I would like to.
Yeah, I think that sounds really interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear about that.
Yeah, so I actually listened to an interview with the director Robert Eggers on another great film podcast called The Big Picture. The episode came out right as the movie was being released, and he explained that basically they wanted to film it mostly on location, but couldn't find a lighthouse that was like suitable to what they wanted to do. So they used a combination of like exterior shots for like a real lighthouse in Nova Scotia, and then some of the scenes for the island were shot on a set, and then the actual interior of like the inside of the lighthouse was in like an airplane hangar, also in Nova Scotia.
Okay, why do I think they built a lighthouse? Like, where'd I hear that from?
Oh, I believe they did build a set.
Okay,
yeah.
so because I think I remember hearing that like they built an actual like lighthouse for it. Like,
yeah, I'm mistaken. So the island itself existed, but they built a lighthouse on it. I had that backwards. I'm sorry.
That's fucking because that's insane. Because this movie had like a $10 million budget, right?
and none of it went to the Lighthouse.
$4
$4 million, and they built a lighthouse on an island and had William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Like,
Willem Dafoe is in so many weird things, and I love it.
Yeah, I imagine this is kind of a project they were both very interested in.
Can I interject? On a previous note, there are actually 4 movies that Robert Pattinson is masturbated in.
Yes, High Life, The Devil All the Time,
Damsel, and The Lighthouse. Yeah, 4 of them.
Yep.
All right, and that was Robert Pattinson masturbation watch. Make sure you keep an eye out. Let us send in any reports
I wanted to know the name of the movie that I was talking about, and I googled it, and it was an article saying that there were 4 of them, actually.
All right.
Yeah, no, once you brought that up, I looked it up immediately.
It was about, the article was actually about him being cast as Batman, and they were like, who knows, maybe.
If there are any sightings of Robert Pattinson masturbating, please send the information to pattinsonmasturbation@gmail.com.
Is that our official email now?
We'll get that one say too. My own address right now. Just send it directly to me.
your street address, not your email.
Yes, by mail.
Send me a letter explaining how he masturbated, please.
A letter with a link.
Preferably with a copy of the movie.
A hard copy, preferably in VHS.
A hard copy, if you know what I mean.
I respect
that. Brad, you were saying.
Sorry.
But for the actual filming and set design, that pretty much wraps it up. I know that the other thing that's really that kind of sticks out about this movie is the dialogue. I don't know how much we want to get into.
I've heard it's weird.
I think that maybe we'll save, because that's, I think, probably one of the best parts of the movie, so I'd like to save that.
Okay, yeah, because there's definitely some interesting tidbits about the way the dialogue was written for the movie, and I definitely want to touch on that, but I will shelve that for now.
I have heard that this movie will be a godsend to watch with subtitles.
Yes, definitely. Luckily, that's how we do it, so that works. So, Beck, Vaughn, do you guys have any... You guys said you've heard things, which is good, because actually I haven't... As I was thinking about it, I realized I have not heard, anything about this. I feel like this is a kind of less well-known movie, which makes sense, being a, very art house film.
Well,
yeah.
For me, I really wanted to see this because I love art house films. I just don't talk about them that often. I think. I don't know. I talk about a lot of things.
That checks out.
I was really excited to see this movie, and honestly, I did not know it was coming to, mass theaters until I'd already been told that Jacob had saw it in theaters.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh, he already saw it, so I have no one else to ask, because anyone I hang out with right now is not someone who will enjoy this movie like I will.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've been really wanting to see this. Mm-hmm. And when you came to me about how you wanted to watch this on the podcast, I'm like, all right, then I'm not going to go out of my way and watch it until it's time.
That's fair.
And I know Beck has seen an art house movie or two.
One or two in my time.
Beck's a mild fan.
Yeah, Danny says that he hasn't seen anything about it, but I've seen quite a bit about it. This is kind of my wheelhouse, the circles I run in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I know quite a bit about it. And, so I have, a good idea of what I'm going to, what my final verdict is going to be, but I won't say it now.
Okay.
Because
that's
the end of the show, not the beginning.
That's fair.
Well, we could do our premonitions right now.
Our premonitions? I like it.
Yeah.
What? Your guess of how the movie ends? Your guess of the twist ending?
No, a guess of how you'll
I didn't get the twist ending on this one.
I don't know if there's
a twist ending.
I don't know that there is a twist ending.
See, now I'm not going to expect it. And then when it happens, I'll be blown
Bang,
away.
it's gonna...
Exactly. We got
Whoa.
you. Is there any, like... What's the overall feeling that you get from, like, hearing people talk about the movie? Do people generally like it?
So what I've heard is that, like, it's unique in the aspect of what it is, but it's also, like, partially just fucking bizarre.
Yeah, I'd say that I've been getting a lot of mixed reviews. There are a lot of people who, you know, make GIF sets and take screenshots and, you know, edit the colors to make them look all artsy and shit, and they post them places, which would imply that they like it. But then whenever I hear people talking about it, they're kind of like, okay, but why? Like, what's the point here?
Yeah.
Which would imply that they probably didn't like it, but maybe people are like, neat movie. What's it mean? I don't give a shit, but
Yeah.
we all know that that's not me. We've done 2 episodes
Yeah.
of this, and they know that
Yeah.
that's not me.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly. I think you'll end up. I think we'll have similar opinions because I feel kind of similar to.
And, you know, I'm
what you were
also,
saying
like,
and those stuff.
most of what I've heard about it outside of online is from you. So it makes sense that my
Yeah, that's fair.
pre-watch discussion would be based off of your opinions. So...
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. I guess I'll get into, like, what my thoughts, cause before seeing this movie, I never heard of it. Before I was invited to go see this movie, I don't think I've ever heard of it.
you saw it in theaters, meaning
friends-
that it had just come out.
Well, yeah, exactly. But like, I'm not dug into the art house film world or at all, and so some friends.
Danny's not even a real
and,
A24 fan.
I don't even know what that is.
Beck's not a real art house film fan. Another one of Vaughn's great references.
Ouch!
Sorry.
That one stung.
I don't want that to sound mean. I just feel like you make a lot of references. You're like, people will get this, and no one ever does.
It's a popular producer of art house movies.
Listen, he's got his thumbs
like
in a lot of pies.
Ari Aster has like 2 movies. I think like both Hereditary and Midsommar are A24 movies.
Okay.
Actually, I know for a fact Midsommar is because A24 had representatives at the theater quit asking people about it when I went to go see Midsommar in theater. I was like, how the fuck do you even hear about this movie?
Now that you bring that up, I definitely have heard of A24 and but yeah, so when they invited me, they're like, "Want to come see this movie?" And I think they told me it was black and white beforehand. I'm like, "Oh, that's weird," but all right, sure, whatever. And I will say that seeing the black and white is kind of one of those things that, and the aspect ratio, I think, at least in theaters, I quickly didn't notice anymore. It's one of those things like midway through the movie, I think I was like, "Oh yeah, this is in black and white," like, which might just be the atmosphere. It feels very like you can kind of get away with it.
That's fair.
Even if it was in color, it'd probably be a lot of dark and everything anyways.
I was thinking that the
dark and gloomy
aspect
anyways,
ratio would probably nag at me, but...
Yeah, that's probably... it might have just been because it was in a movie theater, so it's already on a huge
That's
screen.
fair. But I think it's also,
I think on
you know,
TV
it's
it'll
meant to
probably
be
look
an
fucking weird.
unsettling movie, so maybe the aspect
Yeah.
ratio bugging me will be a good thing? I don't know.
I think that's true. I'll give my one little sentence review, which is, this is what I said as we were leaving the theaters, is that this movie feels like what a like hardcore conservative thinks an art house film is. Like, it feels very like, and I don't think it's necessarily all bad, but there's a lot of it that just feels very like stereotypical as artsy fartsy as you can get.
Somebody jacks off on camera. That's pretty artsy.
Yeah.
That sounded like a joke, but I've seen a lot of art house movies, and for some reason, it's in a lot of them.
That's what I mean. Well, I was telling I was talking to my mom earlier today because maybe I'll invite her over to watch it with us because she said she wants to watch it, and I'm like, yeah, it's very artsy. There's black and white, weird aspect ratio, a lot of very blatant homoeroticism,
which we all know I love.
What? Two guys on a lighthouse island alone has homoeroticism?
Yeah,
oh my god.
But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts until I don't want to get too deep into it. So I think I'll leave it at that. Brad, do you have any overall thoughts you'd like to share?
No. I mean, realistically, like, well, I guess in the big scheme of things, like in the whole broad spectrum of film, this movie like isn't that crazy, but I think that a lot of what is shown on screen is just going to be really, really jarring to like a normal moviegoer.
I definitely agree with that.
I mean, the aspect ratio and then the black and white alone is already like enough to like turn some heads, and then the actual content of the movie is pretty aggressive. I don't want to get too explicit until we move into spoilers, but yeah. So I like it. I think it's pretty good, but like I said, for like just a regular moviegoer who goes to see 2 movies a year, this is going to be a little hot.
Yeah,
to handle,
I can safely say this might be a pass for casual moviegoers, like before even.
Yeah.
I would like to circle back to the aspect ratio comment you made about how like unsettling. That's part of the reason why I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I can't remember what the movie was, but I was watching this horror movie that purposely like kept fucking with the aspect ratio to like make things feel more claustrophobic in certain scenes. And I was like, I can't remember what it was, but I just was really digging it because I didn't notice it.
That sounds really interesting.
It made those scenes more tense by like making you see less.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really a really interesting thing to like change it as you go along.
Yeah, that sounds agonizing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's why I'm always excited for movies that do things differently than the average aspect ratio, like how Hateful Eight did like the fucking big ass screen like old school movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big ass, I can't remember what ratio it was. I want to say 21:9. And it's I'm very excited to get to go see it. It was also filmed on 35mm, which like Quentin Tarantino. So you want everyone to see this fucking 3-hour long movie.
Yeah.
That's just dialogue on 35mm. I love it.
Wasn't there something like that for the Lighthouse too? Like, did they get some special old camera to film the whole thing or something?
No, that's not the Lighthouse, if I remember correctly. There was actually a movie that came out around the same time that was also filmed in black and white. That was filmed on like completely with like people from a specific fishing town.
Okay, yeah.
And this guy just used like a fucking camcorder that he got from the 80s.
Yeah, I think I heard about that.
Yeah, you're totally right. I remember that.
Don't remember the movie though.
I know. I just remember like that's so cool. I would love to watch it, but boy, does that sound agonizing to enjoy.
watching a family home video, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, and Danny, just to answer your previous question, they used vintage lenses.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just to get that effect.
I feel like that's a good middle ground.
So.
You can get the cool artsy stuff without being ridiculous about it.
I'm also just really excited to see like 2 of my favorite actors in a movie together. Like I love Willem Dafoe, and I used to hate on like anyone that was in Twilight because like I was in middle school once.
Same.
And
look at me now.
It's low hanging fruit when you haven't even. But like Robert Pattinson, like has like time and time again proven like he is a competent actor. And God, he's just so handsome.
He's.
Don't think
he's
that he's that handsome.
Such eye candy.
I think that he's hilarious.
Oh, just wait.
Just wait till you watch him jerk off.
You're right. I haven't watched any of the 4 movies in which he does that.
All right, well, that's the next 4 movies.
Maybe 5 after Batman.
Yeah, obviously the next one is Twilight. The first one that he did that in. No, just kidding. That was written by a Mormon, and that would never happen.
I would love to do a High Life episode.
Sorry, Brad. What was that?
What'd you say, Brad?
Oh, I would love to do a High Life episode. I have thoughts.
Life. I don't know that one.
I actually don't know High Life and Damsel. I heard about Devil All the Time because that's the one with Spider-Man that I heard was really bad.
That's the only one on the list I've not seen. I've watched Pattinson crank it 3 times on screen.
Without even looking for it.
Brad's ahead of the game. Has anyone here ever seen Remember Me?
No.
It's a Robert Pattinson movie. It's a drama romance.
Is that the 9/11 one?
But the movie does... Yes, it does this fucking amazing bait and switch where, like, finally everything's going good. And it's like, oh...
And then it zooms out.
Where's
and he's in
your boyfriend?
The Twin
and then,
Towers.
like... Yeah, it's like, he's at work. Yeah, he's at work. And... Oh, what day is it? September 11th, 2001. And it zooms out, and it shows him at work on the top floor of the Twin Towers. And it's like, oh my god.
That's so unnecessary.
Vaughn, save that for spoilers.
It's from 2010. It is 11 years old.
Ooh, what a twist.
When I saw that, I literally was like, no fucking way.
That feels like such poor taste.
Yeah, it was critically panned. Nobody enjoyed that.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah, that was... Oh my god. It's almost as bad as World Trade Center with Charlie Sheen.
That
God.
sure does sound not good.
I don't know what that is, but I hate that sentence.
It's him in a serious role.
Well, we can save it for underrated. Maybe we can do an
Yeah,
underrated
maybe.
episode.
No, I still think it's overrated. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to watch this, and I'm really excited to just spend more time with my friends. So,
Well, let's move on.
I have no problem
excited.
being sentimental.
I'm very excited to see this movie again. I've been wanting to see it again since I saw it because I'm like, I came out of theater and I'm like, God, I don't know. So I'm really excited to see it again and solidify some thoughts. And I think it'll be very fun to watch it with people too.
I'm also like, since you said we're doing the other Pattinson movie, that one I'm not so sure I'm excited for. Then I think about it.
Ready.
Nah, I'm on Team Brad. I want to see that movie again.
Like
Rewatch 5. Let's go.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Twilight. I was
trying to be edgy about it.
Oh, you were talking Twilight? Okay, I'm talking about...
Listen, we're all gonna watch Twilight
I meant,
together, and it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
I legitimately, I watched a review of Twilight, and I'm just like, oh, I'm having a hard time watching this.
It's so hilariously bad.
Can we watch it with the Robert Pattinson commentary?
Cheeseburger.
Because, I love the fact that no one hates that movie more than Robert Pattinson.
At one point, the movie, he's like, what do vampires eat? And then Robert Pattinson's commentary goes, cheeseburgers.
Oh my god. We need to get Robert Pattinson on this.
Amazing. Yeah, let's contact his agents.
I know we can get a hold of his agents, but I can barely get a hold of the fucking Halo announcer agents. They just ghosted me.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I have so many stories about the absurdity of Robert Pattinson.
I'm like, hey, Robert Pattinson agents, do you want to have him show up on a amateur podcast?
Yeah, they've only got 2
Twilight?
episodes, but...
Can we get in on Pattinson masturbation watch?
That would be... Oh my god,
he would totally be down for that.
Yeah, no, I love that shit, because, Red Letter Media had Macaulay Culkin review fucking the Home Alone franchise with them. I would love to do that kind of shit.
So yeah, if no one has any less thoughts, I would actually like to read a few quick reviews before we finish off.
Go for it, dude.
Okay. Go off.
All right. So I got a few of them here that are these are all bad reviews just because I think they're the funnier ones. I don't know if these people just make bad reviews because it's funnier, but so this one 25 out of these two are on Metacritic. This is a 25 out of 100. The Lighthouse is more than 4 times longer than a Twilight Zone episode and 100 times worse.
Ooh.
And pretty bad review, but also I just don't get how that's relevant. Similar to this one, which is a 0. Total waste of time. The film's only redeeming quality is that it's not 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
I don't get where that was. What that has to do. What either of those have to do with anything. I guess just maybe like, hey, it's artsy, so it's probably gonna be 4 hours long. And then you get in like, oh, thank God it wasn't. Like, I don't know.
If that's your review of something that's artsy, maybe you shouldn't be a film critic.
Yeah, that's true too. I don't know. I think one of those is like actual film critic. And then this one from this one's also from Metacritic. This is my last one. From Really Wonka 180. Gave it a 5 out of 10. The Lighthouse could have been better. Plus, I took away many stars because they literally showed cum.
Oh.
That is
What a great review.
All right, and with that, we will go to our ad break and post-watch discussion.
Oh, I can't wait. It's your favorite commercial length game show. Name that movie. I'm your host, Vaughn, and joining us today is Vaughn. Rules are simple. Our guest has 3 questions before the podcast starts up again. Are you ready? Oh yeah, sure. What movie is about a fight club? Oh, Real Steel. The robot boxing movie. Yeah, the robots are like in a club of fighters or something. The answer we were looking for was Fight Club. Ah, damn, would have never gotten that one. Alright, next up. What movie is about a shark attacking the fictional Amity Island? Oh, I know this one for sure. Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. The episode of Twilight Zone about a monster on a plane? Yup. The answer was Jaws. Oh, damn. Well, there's always next time. Alright, last question before the show starts up again. Name the movie about a detective teaming up with a dog to solve crimes. Oh, K9 with Jim Belushi. Screw it. We were looking for Turner and Hooch, but that works. Now back to the podcast. Alright, we hope you enjoyed that commercial for... Name that movie! So, that was a movie.
Yeah, that was good. It was a movie.
I liked it surprisingly a lot.
Yeah?
A lot more than I thought I was going to. Mostly because... Okay, I'm getting right into the paint.
Let me just real quick say, because we haven't really gone over this, this is obviously going to be spoilers. I don't think it really matters in the last 2, because it was Citizen Kane and Cats, so who cares if they're spoiled? But
What?
but this one
what
we are
does Rosebud
spoiling.
mean?
We answer that in this episode, oddly enough. But yeah, Mom, make sure you go and watch this movie before you start listening to this part, is what I'm saying. All right, Beck, keep going.
Okay. Well, I thought that my ideas were going to be more of it was trying to make itself sound like it meant something while it really didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I watched it, I kind of saw the threads of something, and it showed up a lot more coherent than I had expected.
Yeah. I'll just run real quick and say I actually agree as well. I was expecting to come in and be like the same thing, like how I felt the first time. I was like, there's not much here, and that's what I was seeing a lot of people say online. And after this second watch, I don't know if I totally got it, but I'm like, hey, I can see there's more there, and I think on like another watch, I would totally be able to get it more. Or maybe you can explain it to me, Beck.
Well, what was your kind of, like, what was the firing off of your neurons doing? Like, what was the kind of, shocks of something that you were like, oh, that's something?
I think just rewatching it, knowing the ending, knowing how it goes, and, like, kind of, like, the fact that they're both named Thomas, and like, just more, like, during the whole, I mean, even during your first watch, you totally get the whole feeling of, is this all in his head or something? And I mean, sure, Willem Dafoe straight up says that, hey, this is all in your head, you're imagining this. And so I think just watching it through that lens of, like, knowing how wild it gets towards the end, and that, like, nothing in this movie can really be trusted, kind of makes you feel like there's more there. I wasn't totally, because I was also, like, I think half of the movie being like, yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the monologues. And then when I started kind of getting that feeling towards the end, so I think on a third or fourth watch, maybe I'll start to put more together. And I think it's still a movie that maybe leaves a little bit too much of leaves a little bit too much up to interpretation, but I think it's pretty good. I think there is a lot there, and it brings it together more than I thought before. I think before I thought it was a lot of pieces that don't really come together and kind of say a lot of very general messages, whereas on a second watch, I think it kind of comes together more than I was thinking.
It's strange that you say that, because I guess I have this paragraph in my notes where, where Robert Pattinson's Thomas, his narrative devolves even more. And somebody said, like, you can't even believe the parts that seem like they're sane because he's an unreliable narrator. And I wrote this kind of paragraph that was, in order to have this movie and have a narrative here, we have to assume that something is real. Something that we're seeing is real. So I think that the parts that are more grounded in reality are truly happening. I'm in the camp where, like, yeah, Willem Dafoe is gaslighting this man.
Yeah, I think I agree, because like you said, like, I don't think the beginning of the movie, like, I don't think he's actually in Canada walking, just hypothermia is, like, causing this whole fever dream. Like, I feel like at least the beginning parts are real. And so if William Dafoe is a real person, if his Thomas is a real person, then him going and saying, oh, this is all in your head, kind of makes it seem like you can't really trust anything he says more than Winslow.
But I also, like, when we're being involved with Robert Pattinson's delusions, I think that those moments are very obvious. It's, when everything goes off the rails is when he is having delusions. And everything that seems more real is real, even at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Because I think at some point, Willem Dafoe tells him, "Oh, it's been weeks," or "Oh, you attacked me with the axe." And you were like, he might have, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think I kind of said that just because, like, that's obviously what it's trying to make you think, is that that's the plot. The point of it, I think, is like, oh, maybe he did, but, like, I'd agree. It seems like the actual story is like he didn't. You literally just saw it. It seems weird to literally just see that, and it wasn't particularly ridiculous looking or anything. Like, you have parts where there's a fucking mermaid and tentacles and shit. Like, there is I think there's a fine line between what seems real and what isn't, but I think it's there.
Yeah. In other news, Willem Dafoe, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
That's what's on his. That's what his bumper sticker says.
I have that in my notes.
Vaughn, what are your thoughts?
Separate times.
Two separate.
Once
times.
at the end of my paragraph, and once just in general.
I was looking through my notes, and in the middle, I just have a chunk where I just say "Fast 9" trailer. Because there was a good half hour where we stopped to get pizza, and then we just watched Fast and Furious trailers.
That's true.
Vaughn, what are your thoughts? This is our first time seeing the movie.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
I would like to...
Very Brad of you.
Wow, that's not very nice to me or Brad.
It's not an insult.
It is true.
See?
I was going to say, I get like a classic literature horror vibe from it. Mm-hmm. And I really dig that. Like, I love old horror where it's like, you're not sure if you can trust the narrator of the story, or it's very weird, but also somewhat grounded in a reality. Not far from our own.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I really got that vibe from it. I want to say, like, maybe even, like, a more intense Twilight Zone. Like, just two men on an island going nuts, but, like, I feel like this is too deep for Twilight Zone.
Do you understand our reviews from the beginning of the episode more now, then?
You know, I definitely could see, like, why someone would be like, there's nothing to this movie. It's just pretentious monologues and craziness, but like I saw something to it. But I have a background in this kind of like medium, so I was all for it. I got eye candy. I got amazing cinematography, amazing lighting, and phenomenal, top-notch monologues.
The monologues are fucking amazing.
That monologue where he is cursing Robert Pattinson's Thomas for dissing his cooking, and like it's just doing this panning shot onto his face, and he's not blinking, and it feels like it's like 5 minutes. It literally made my eyes dry, and I had to blink so much during that.
Yeah,
because I was just...
After that monologue, you were just going off like, how is he not blinking? How did he not blink that long?
It was literally, I was highly impressed.
Oh, yeah, that fucking monologue is amazing.
It's so good. And what I think really makes it so much better for me is that it's this beautiful, well-crafted curse to someone after he's just like, but you like my lobster.
Yeah, literally just, I want Triton to fill your guts with bile and blow you up into nothingness so even the seagulls can't peck at your corpse just because you said you didn't like my cooking. Before that monologue, he delivers the line of like, you like my cooking, right? Like, he delivers that line so well, like he is so hurt and offended. Like it makes you think the whole gaslighting, I want to think about that on the third watch. Is like, did all the gaslighting start after that? Is this whole movie like the whole climax just because he didn't like it? He said he didn't like his cooking.
I kind of disagree with that. That was a joke.
I mean,
all right.
I don't know, but I'm gonna think about that next time.
As I was thinking about the movie, I did like realize like that is foreshadowing to what happens to Robert Pattinson's Thomas, and I thought that was just brilliant.
Brad, you got any thoughts?
I liked it.
Good job, bud.
All right, now you're doing it. Now you're doing it on purpose.
Well, no, I think like I said earlier, I'd seen this before, and I think that Danny, I mainly agree with what you said. I think definitely on a movie that's so like this, that's so heavy in its themes, or like there's so much symbolically going on. Multiple rewatches are very helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful in decoding it. But the thing that really jumped out to me this time, or the first time I saw it rather, and this time were the substance abuse.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
That they're so... that it seems like one of the major things that's driving the shared psychosis that they experience is the fact that they're isolated and essentially have nothing to live on except for, like, lobster and...
kerosene?
And fucking liquor that becomes just kerosene.
I was going to say, whatever that clear liquor is that's in the bottles, and then eventually moving on to, like, the lamp fuel.
Yeah.
But the other comparison that I really wanted to draw was to... I'm assuming none of you guys have seen it, but Ingmar Bergman's movie Persona.
No, I have not.
Played one of the games?
It's been on my list.
Yeah,
I've actually heard of that. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, it's Ingmar Bergman's adaptation of the famous JRPG series that's a spin-off from Shin Megami Tensei. That's the one.
Yep.
I'm so happy you actually know that second part.
Yeah, that was good.
So many people think Persona is its own series.
I'm still anxiously... At the time of this recording, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is not out on Switch yet.
Oof.
Let's day.
Keep up with updates.
Years in the making. We're gonna get the Lighthouse 2 before we get Shin Megami Tensei 5. But that's...
It's just
I would
2
love
hours
just, like,
long.
A half-hour long sequel.
Just looking at the island that everything happened after everything happened. Just, some seagulls eating our pets.
Now I feel like we should...
I would love a half-hour-long sequel that's just the crew coming to pick them up, like, what the fuck?
We were gone for like 4 weeks. We were gone for 4.5 weeks. We're only like 4 days late, guys. What happened?
Like,
yeah, the reason why I want to draw the comparison to Persona is that, so the 2-second summary of Persona is that it's about a woman and her nurse who stay together in like an isolated house, and it also plays on a lot of the same themes like identity, like personal relationships, madness, and it's also like equally as opaque, and it's definitely another one of those films that's not easy to decode right on the surface.
Left
So
up to interpretation.
and it's also shot in the same like it's black and white as well, and it's like the cinematography is really like lush and gorgeous, and a lot of the same like nature plays a big role in like the framing and stuff.
It sounds super similar.
It's that movie's definitely worth seeking out if you like The Lighthouse. So
Might check that out. Because I did enjoy The Lighthouse.
Right.
I think that I think my initial problems with The Lighthouse, and they might still stand, is that this isn't, like we said, it's kind of a movie for multiple watches, which is I don't like, it's a good thing for some people. Like, obviously some people want that movie. I definitely enjoyed it, but like I feel like that's not necessarily a good, like, that's kind of more of a con than a pro, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, rewatches of The Lighthouse?
No, the fact that, like, if a movie needs multiple watches to, like, really understand it, like, I don't consider that I don't know, actually. I don't know if I consider that
personally,
that could be
I think
a good
it's like
thing.
a different brand of good.
Yeah.
Also, one of my neighbors is weed
I guess
whacking,
it's what you're going for.
That's gonna be annoying.
Oh boy, fun, great. Oh well. Yeah. I don't. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Because like, I just like, I definitely think this is that kind of movie. This is the movie you kind of need multiple watches.
I think that it's just a different brand of good. Just
Yeah.
I enjoy.
Personally, I like
easy
rewatching
watches,
media.
but there's also movies where I want to write an essay about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to write an essay about this movie.
It's definitely be one of those movies.
Yeah, I think my kind of gripe with it comes from, like, as a more casual film fan. I liked it, but like I think I'm kind of just saying this as like, hey, we're gonna get this a rating, so I guess we're kind of somewhat reviewers. Like, for casual film fans, that's definitely, I don't think, a good thing. Like, you shouldn't have to watch, just like we said with, you shouldn't have to watch a video to explain this to you. Like, I don't think you should have to watch it twice. Not that it's a bad thing, especially if that's what you like or want to go for, but like, I think for the general audience, that's not a good thing, and I think this movie definitely isn't for the general audience.
Yeah, but fuck the general audience.
yeah,
Yeah. It doesn't know. Everything doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone thought it was.
I think that that's just kind of a metric that you can't judge certain movies on. And this one is definitely one
That's a
of
good
them, where you can't base it on
that's a good
general
point.
appeal.
Mm-hmm.
So, apparently, this movie, the story is based off of very, very, very loosely based off a real life tragedy from 1801.
Ooh.
It's the smallest lighthouse tragedy. 2 Welsh lighthouse keepers, both were named Thomas, got trapped on the lighthouse station during a storm. One of them died, and it drove the other one mad.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine being stuck on an island in the middle of a storm with your dead coworker?
I mean, I think I just watched a movie about it.
That's what I was having a joke lead into, but like, seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
that'd be
fucked.
fucked.
And if anyone who's listening, or any of you guys want to explore that story further, the podcast Lore by Aaron Menke has an episode about that tragedy at that lighthouse. That it is very, very good and definitely worth checking out if you want to explore more like the real life. I mean, there's no merwoman, but
Yeah. Well, not that we know of.
yeah, that's true.
They wouldn't tell us about that part.
In a slightly happier note, the director, Robert Eggers, used the same choice words in every interview to describe his movie, and it was, nothing good can happen when two men are trapped alone in a giant phallus.
He's right.
That's a lie.
That's so good. Okay. I think that's good.
I mean, like, it's a funny line,
like,
but
I think that's funny.
two men trapped in a
Right.
phallus.
Yeah, no,
That doesn't sound so bad.
that it's definitely, yeah, not necessarily a bad thing. But, like, did he say that, though?
What?
Did he say that, though? Is that, like... Beck,
That's what he was saying to interviews.
Okay, so Beck's calling him a liar, but he did say that. Okay.
But what a couple days for the small town in Nova Scotia where this was filmed. Like, that must have been what a couple months, huh?
Yeah, seriously. That was so crazy.
Principal photography took 35 days and took from April to May 2018.
Man. That's awesome. Can we talk about the fucking atmosphere of this movie, though? My top note on this is just foghorn noise, which I think was just so good throughout the whole movie. Like,
actually, I was just looking at things about the sound effects. The sound design behind the water pump noise is a donkey's hee-haw.
Okay, interesting.
Huh.
They just got a little donkey down there onto the island.
Yeah.
There's a third cast member we didn't know. But like the black and white definitely fits this movie so well. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that they could have made it the same impact had it been in color.
yeah.
No, I don't. I feel with the black and white, we couldn't have gotten such great like lighting sequences.
That's true.
Looks
Like when Arpats like stands up angrily to Defoe, and like it just shows like this monstrosity of a shadow behind him, and you can see Defoe literally like for a second reel back in terror because he sees, I'm about to get killed.
Yeah.
He's not about to get killed.
Still
I mean, at that very moment.
I know.
still had some time. My notes aren't great. They're mostly just like a synopsis of the movie, which doesn't really help with like thoughts.
I have a lot of thoughts on power dynamics in my notes.
I want to hear that because you brought that up multiple times.
Yeah, months ago, maybe even a year ago, I watched a video on the Lighthouse. I don't remember most of it. But it kind of talked about how they're like similar men in certain similar circumstances, but the power lended to Willem Dafoe kind of corrupts him, and the withholding of that power from Robert Pattinson is the reason why he eventually goes mad.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I was just looking at my notes. The one thing I did find was not to bring this up again, but when Robert Pattinson is jerking it, he is like it is doing it to half to like this fantasy mermaid, but half of it is like mixed in with these flashes of him killing his former boss.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it doesn't necessarily seem like that's something he wants in there, but it's something that's going through his mind while he's doing this.
Wait, you guys don't jerk off to killing your bosses?
That is the what we all have to deal with under capitalism, I understand, but by the way, we do own Pattinson or ohm.patterson masturbation at gmail.com, so please email us with any more reports of Pattinson masturbating. Thank you.
As they come out, or
Yeah.
stalking his house?
If you see it in the wild, Pattinson, if you want to give us an update anytime, like, that's fine. Just
that would make my
Yep.
entire
Just-
life, I hope you know. Robert Pattinson, who's definitely
email the-
listening to this episode.
and is going to email
Every
us
time
every
I
time
see
he
a movie
masturbates.
Every time I see a movie where Robert Pattinson masturbates, even if I've already seen it, I'll email the email, like,
Yes.
saw him jerking it, watched Lighthouse 3 times in a row.
I just wanted to watch it every time.
Made a supercut of only the masturbation scenes in Robert Pattinson movies.
All right, I'm gonna make that now.
Gotta go, guys. Got something to do. Yeah, I think that the power dynamic is definitely like this. I think Winslow, that's not sure what I'm gonna call him now, is has more issues than he lets on with that, like, I think very, like, anger management towards his bosses. Like, he hates being told what to do, which he doesn't really show until later on in the movie. Kind of. What?
You were referring to Robert Pattinson as Winslow?
Yeah, Winslow's that's what he goes by for most of it.
It actually goes by Ephraim for the first half.
Well, Ephraim Winslow.
Yeah, and Defoe is Thomas Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
He's the old man of the sea.
Yeah, but, like, he has, I think, this deep-seated anger that he kind of, like, shoves down, and at first he's kind of just like anyone would be like, oh yeah, my boss is kind of a dick, yes sir, whatever, aye sir, and then it starts growing more and more, which is understandable until he eventually, like, admits to killing his former boss, and it's like, oh, so you have a history with this, and then he pops off. That mixed with, I think, the alcohol, like it seems like he has issues with alcoholism. Or some kind of substance abuse. Like, he was literally trying to refrain from it until old Thomas makes him drink, and then kind of that leads to their downfall.
Yeah. We could also argue that killing that gull
I was about to say the same thing.
led to their downfall.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, I guess that's I guess that's the moral of the story, is killing seagulls is bad.
That's true.
Don't kill your boss, don't kill seagulls.
Or I guess just listen to the old crazy old man who tells you not to kill seagulls.
I mean, like, there were many things that the old man said that he should not have listened to. So I would understand the confusion.
So he's like, you know what? I can't trust anything this fucker says. I bet brutalizing this seagull will be fucking awesome.
Oh my god.
My issue was that I only killed one seagull.
I didn't kill them all.
If I had killed them all, they wouldn't have eaten
me.
If I
had made ritualistic sacrifices of every seagull I saw.
They got souls in them, seagulls.
They would have had food.
Yeah, that's a good point. They wouldn't have had to live off rationing alcohol.
Yeah. I said this when we watched it, but I'm going to reiterate this for the podcast. When you said he brutalized the bird, I expected, all right, he hits a bird with a rock, or like,
yeah, because he does that at the beginning. He throws a rock at the bird, and Vaughn was like, oh,
yeah.
And we were like, no,
that's not the brutalization fund.
I was like, when that scene happened, I'm just like, I was like, how do I put this? I was uncomfortably humorous about it. Yeah. Because, like, it's just so over the top, but, like, it's so, like, jaw-droppingly brutal.
Yeah, it's so over the top, it's comical. Brandon, you say your theater laughed?
Yeah, in my showing, there was just uproarious laughter.
Yeah, I think we were the same.
Yeah.
Because it's just so over the top, like, which I think there's a lot of that in this movie, of, like, little, not over the top, but, like, little comical bits, which I don't know, is it just them having fun or what, but, like, there's a lot of, like old man Thomas's farts, and then in the end Pattinson goes off on him about his farts and he smells like jism. And, like, their rants at each other are just really well done, and also, like, kind of like hilarious.
Alright, get off it, I like your food.
Yeah. And I guess just kind of shows, like, this, like, mental breakdown of them, like, just fucking going off. And Brad, do you want to talk about, like, some of the how the dialogue was written? Because I think you, in the last half, you mentioned it and didn't really go over it for the podcast, at least.
Sure, yeah. So I actually did a little bit of additional research. I heard an anecdote. It was an interview that the director Robert Eggers gave, talking about how he developed the dialogue for the film. And if you're listening to this and haven't seen the film, the dialogue is all period appropriate. It's to the late 19th century, and uses period appropriate slang that people actually working in these lighthouses would use, which makes the film difficult to understand at points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like wiki.
I liked that.
Wiki's
Yeah.
a fun word.
And just so many words that, just a modern viewing audience wouldn't be familiar with. I found being able to put on subtitles in the home viewing was really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
So one of the authors that he pulled from to kind of develop this, or to capture the period appropriate dialogue, was a writer from Maine named Sarah Orne Jewett, she was a novelist who set most of her works in the region, in Maine, where this movie ostensibly takes place. And also, Eggers said that he would go in and read journals and logs of lighthouse keepers from the time, and essentially work backwards and trying to understand the word use through context to decode the slang.
That's
which
awesome.
is really, really great. But that must have been excruciating
Yeah, I bet.
to actually do.
That's
but
really impressive.
yeah,
I'm sorry, Brad, did you say this takes place in Maine? What did you?
yeah. I was just saying that. Off the coast of New England, I should say.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't realize. I guess I assumed this was more in the middle of the ocean, but I guess that makes sense. I didn't really think about where it takes place at.
That was my Lighthouse headcanon, as it were. I always just assumed it was off the coast of New England. It might not be.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
That was
No,
just my
actually, I think
assumption.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes more sense than me thinking it's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
I don't think that's how
Ridiculous.
lighthouses work.
Yeah, exactly. That makes way more sense. Did Edgar's? I guess did he write this whole thing by himself?
I believe it was him and his brother.
Okay.
Because the story that I had heard was that his brother was trying to adapt a Edgar Allan Poe kind of short story called The
okay.
Lighthouse, and eventually that didn't pan out for whatever reason. But they liked the Lighthouse setting and then kind of developed that and carried it over into this.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of interested in reading that. See how are there any similarities?
Yeah, the fragment is called The Lighthouse. The Poe story.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to talk about.
Yeah,
actually.
it seems like both of the parts of these two episodes have been kind of concise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought.
Actually, there is something else.
Being?
Oh, what's that?
If it's rated or overrated. If it's underrated or overrated.
Ooh.
This is the whole damn sake of the fucking podcast.
Yeah,
Dave.
but we were going
didn't
to
think
do
about
something
that.
Discussion.
Yeah,
That's not a discussion. That's a statement.
discussion. No, Vaughn's right. You called me out. I totally forgot about that part of it. I was just gonna end it right here.
That's foolish, Danny. You're foolish.
I wasn't.
Danny is a foolish boy.
All right, great, thanks. Let's see.
Danny, overrated or underrated?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. That's I'm kind of. I don't know. On one hand, I think it's overrated for a general audience. On another hand, it's does that matter or not? So I think the answer is rated.
Beck?
I think that it's kind of, that's difficult. It is difficult. Not because I think that it is overrated for general audiences, because I think that general audiences just are not going to watch it, and so there is no rating for them.
Yeah,
They
I
shouldn't
think
watch
the
it.
black and white. I think is a good filter for general audience as well.
Yeah, so
Filtered.
there's are a lot of people who liked it, but I think insofar as kind of analysis, critics, I think that it is underrated. A lot of people don't read into it properly.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree. I think this movie is probably kind of sitting at like a 7 or 8, and in the general conciseness, like,
Yeah.
people either love it or they're like, oh, that was bullshit nonsense. But I think it's like a solid 9, 8 or 9. Like, this is a great movie, and I think there is more there that might be easy to pass up. So I'm gonna go with underrated as well.
All right. Vaughn?
I think it's underrated.
Okay.
Ooh.
And Brad?
Are we gonna have our first concise decision, Brad?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys.
Oh,
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna say that it's underrated, especially because this movie was released in 2019, which was, I think, especially like a really, really strong year for movies.
That's true.
It was Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, all the different Best Pictures, The Irishman, this, that, and the other thing. And I think that, we can talk about the Oscars in general as like whether or not they're actually like a good barometer of like where the movie industry is. I mean, most people would say no. I mean,
yeah.
Agreed.
I would probably even say no mostly.
Yeah, I think this is evidence for no. Like,
but like this movie got 1 nomination for cinematography and didn't win.
Yikes!
Absurd.
Willem Dafoe this is arguably his career best performance.
Aside from Green
You
Goblin.
mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
No.
Okay, best later
Good
career
reference, but
performance.
that's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Runner
This is probably the
2049
best
one?
I've ever seen Dafoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
I haven't
how
seen much of
impressive
Dafoe,
both these
though.
actors are. Yeah,
yeah.
But like, this is I imagine they did this for basically free based on how much they spent on this movie, but also like how much they were able to ham it up. Like, I feel like this was the role of a lifetime for both of them. Just the amazing acting and what they were given and able to do with it is beautiful.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I am happy that we had this on our list so I could get the chance to watch it, because it's always been on my list, and I am floored I did not watch this sooner.
Yeah.
I would
I'm
like to
surprised you
close
didn't either.
this off. After the monologue was said.
Which monologue?
The
Trident
big
one?
one. Yeah, the Trident one.
Yeah.
I
Triton
said,
one.
yes, you know what I meant.
No, I said Trident.
Oh.
Hark.
I said that it
Hark!
reminded me of something that everybody was going to be very upset about.
Oh yeah, you did.
It reminds
Muppet
me...
Treasure Island?
What?
Is it Muppet Treasure Island?
How did you know?
I don't know how I knew that. I guess because pirates.
Oh!
Tim Curry has a monologue in Muppet Treasure Island where he curses his Muppet crewmates like a salty
Amazing.
old sailor, and it doesn't go on for as long, and it's not as iconic, but it starts off essentially the same way.
Phenomenal.
Amazing. So I've never seen that movie, but we do have it on our list of
It's
movies
good.
to do.
Do
so.
we? I love that movie.
I think I put it on there just because I want to do Treasure Planet and Muppet Treasure Island as a back-to-back.
That's fair.
Both are good movies.
Yeah, I just
I'm
want an
gonna say that
excuse to
right
watch
now.
Treasure Planet.
Hell yeah! I agree.
I'm gonna have a real bad take about that because I love the Muppets and I don't particularly like Treasure Planet.
Absurd.
Well, look forward to that.
Look forward to
Yeah,
that.
look forward to.
Um,
I know now I have to have the opposite take, and I have to hate the Muppets.
no.
Sorry, Beck, you gave me no choice. All right. It looks like this is our first concise. We all agree. Even though this movie was one of our highly rated movies, we decided it isn't highly rated enough. So we're giving this a solid underrated.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
All right. Bye, Mom.
All right. Bye, Danny's mom.
Bye, Danny's mom.
Bye.
Underrated.